Clash Royale, a game I've been playing on and off since 2016. This game's been a part of my life for almost 10 years now. I even have a YouTube channel where I almost have 25,000 subscribers where I just talk about this game. And the game's so much more popular than it's ever been and in such a good spot right now. I could honestly say it's probably my favorite game of all time.
Welcome to TV Royale!
Heroes are powerful versions of familiar cards, each one with a unique ability.
Supercell, nobody asked for this, please take it back, please take it back, and level 16 on top of this, I can't take this, please Supercell. I guess it's time to start playing something else on my channel, like maybe even a Pokemon White 2 Nuzlocke. I'm not very good at nuzlocking. Well, that didn't work. Maybe instead I should try combining both of my two interests into one video. After all, both Clash Royale and Pokemon Nuzlocke take strategy, it's just one of them you go up against CPUs and the other one, well, it doesn't matter. The point is, in this video I'm going to be giving each Clash Royale troop their very own Pokemon typing. Now real quick before I begin, I should start by saying I will not be doing any buildings or spells. This will be exclusively about the Clash Royale troops. Maybe if you guys requested enough I'll make a video on the buildings and spells too, but with that being said, let's start giving these cards typings. There's no better place to start than with the normal types, aka the basic bitches of Clash Royale, and I have 14 cards that I would say are pure normal types, and they are the Knight, Archers, Firecracker, Hog Rider, Ram Rider, Royal Recruits, Hunter, Golden Knight, Royal Hogs, Rascals, Musketeers, Little Prince, and Royal Giant. And no, Little Timmy, the Hog Rider and Ram Rider shouldn't be dark types. I'm not gonna go too in detail on why these cards are normal types since it's kind of self-explanatory. These are just people with a weapon or a basic animal. But some of these cards, like Pokemon, have evolutions. And like how some Pokemon gain a typing from evolving, the same can happen for some cards that evolve. So for the normal types that do gain a dual typing upon evolving, I have the Knight, who both the Hero and Evo versions become normal steel types, considering both give him either upgraded armor or a shield, which make him considerably more tanky, and how steel types are considered the tankiest or the best defensive type in Pokemon. I also have the Evo Hunter gaining another typing. Since he brings air troops to the ground, I'm giving him normal ground typing. I have the Evo Firecracker as a normal poison type since she now does tick damage like the poison status does in Pokemon. I also have the Evo Pigs as a flying normal type for obvious reasons. Also, there's more dual types that don't have an evolution, but I'll go over those after I go over the single types and their evos. But for now, I'll go over the second most common single typing with 9 cards, the fighting types. The thing that makes these cards different than normal types is that they either fight for the love of the game or they just use straight hands. These cards are the Giant, the Monk, which is pretty ironic because they're supposed to be peaceful, but he'd rather piece you up.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
No? Okay. Berserker, Valk, Barbs, E-Barbs, Lumberjack, Bandit, and Boss Bandit. The only two cards I feel like I have to explain here are the Bandit and the Boss Bandit, and even though they use a weapon and they don't really give off vibes that they like to fight, I'd still say they're a fighting type because they get up close and personal. Also, the Evo Lumberjack evolves into a fighting ghost type. Surprisingly, the third most common single typing is the dark types with 6 troops, and the troops are the Skeleton, Skarmory, which evolves into a dark ghost type, Guards, Giant Skeleton, Witch, and Night Witch. You might be wondering why Giant Skeleton isn't also a fighting type since he uses his hands to attack, but if you look at the way he throws a punch, his heart just clearly isn't in it like the other fighting type troops I have. Also, later on in the video you'll see that most magic troops are psychic types, so you might be wondering why the witches aren't as well, but it's because they use dark magic like summoning and necromancing, and also because the witch evolves into a dark fairy type. I feel like if the card can heal itself, it should be a fairy type. And yeah, I know grass types can heal themselves too, but don't question my methods. Now that we're talking about them, I guess I should go over the pure fairy types, and they're the Heal Spirit and Battle Healer for obvious reasons, and then I also have the Rune Giant. Since the Rune Giant buffs other cards, that just seems right as a fairy type. Also, real quick, this video is very unorganized, so I'm just gonna go over the types at random. So next, let's go over the pure grass types, which I have the Goblin, Spear Goblins, Goblin Gang, Goblin Giant, and Dark Goblin, who evolves into a grass poison type. And yeah, they're all grass types because they're green. Cancel me for fucking profiling if you want. The grass type is where the greens belong. Alright, but in all seriousness, it's shown that the goblins live in the jungle, which is canonically the grassiest area in the Clash universe, and I had to make somebody a grass type, so the goblins get it. I only have 2 pure steel types, and one of them is the Mini P.E.K.K.A, who evolves into a steel fairy type upon his hero evolution, and the P.E.K.K.A, who you might also think evolves into a steel fairy type. And you'd be so wrong, and you should stop jumping to conclusions before I finish my sentences. You see, the reason she heals herself is because of her butterfly that uses leech life on her opponents, making her a steel bug type and making her the only bug type in all of Clash Royale. I also only have 2 pure electric types, the E-Spirit and Zappies. Okay, I only have 7 more pure types and they only have a single card in each of them, so I'm just gonna do a rapid fire round. Okay, I have the Fire Spirit, Ice Spirit, Royal Ghost, Flying Machine, Mother Witch, Magic Archer, and the Baby Dragon, who evolves into a dragon flying type since the Gust of Wind reminds me of the flying type move. Gust. Now we can get into the more interesting cards, the dual types. And if you thought the first part of the video where I go over the single types was unorganized, just you wait. Since the Miner and Mighty Miner's main way of traveling canonically is underground, I have them as a normal ground type. Speaking of ground types, I have Golem as a rock ground type. You know, like the rock ground type Pokemon. Golem. I have the Spirit Empress as a flying ground type since she can be placed both on the ground and the air. There's also a few more steel dual types, like I have the Mega Knight and Goblin Machine being steel fighting types. The Dark Prince I have as a dark steel type since he's just a dark version of the Prince who I have as a normal steel type. I also have the Furnace as a fire steel type and the Mega Minion as a steel flying type. Speaking of flying types, the flying dual type Pokemon consist of the Bats who are a normal flying type that evolves into a fairy flying type, the Phoenix who's a fire flying type, and even though it clearly doesn't know any fire type moves, I think it only knows Peck. Its body is engulfed in flames, and it's also a phoenix, aka the creature that's always associated with fire. I have the Minions and Minion Horde as dark flying types, I mean just look at them, and I also have the Skelly Barrel and Balloon as dark flying types as well. You know, since skeletons equals dark type. Since we're already talking about them, next I'll go over the dark dual types. I have the Skelly King and Graveyard as dark ghost types, since they both raise skeletons from the dead like ghosts, and skeleton equals dark type. And I know I said I wasn't gonna do spells, but Graveyard's different. I have the Wall Breakers and Bomber as fire dark types, because they're both 2 types of bombers and bombs cause fire, and skeleton equals dark type. Keep up, would you? The Executioner is a dark normal type since his job is cruel, but he is just a guy. Unlike the other goblins, the Bowler isn't a grass type since he is a dark elixir goblin, so he is more like a distant cousin. So for that reason, he's a dark rock type. The Skeleton Dragons are dragon dark types, because they are dragons. And skeletons equals, speaking of dragons, the Inferno Dragon and E-Dragon are fire and electric dragon types respectively. The other electric dual types remaining are the Sparky as an electric steel type, the Goblinstein and E-Giant are both electric fighting types, and the E-Wiz is a normal electric type, while the Wizard and Ice Wizard are fire and ice psychic types respectively. And the reason the E-Wiz isn't a psychic like the other wizards is because he's technically not a wizard like the other two. Instead, it was revealed in a short that he's actually a scientist who accidentally drank a zap spell instead of his coffee and it gave him electric powers. So unlike the other wizards, he doesn't use magic. The other 3 normal types I have left are the Archer Queen being a psychic normal type. I can't explain her turning invisible besides magic. Our one and only water type is the Fisherman as a normal water type. And the Princess is a normal fire type since her main attack is a fire type move. I have the Lava Hound as a fire rock type. And I already know what you're thinking, and it's that she should be a fire dragon or a fire flying type. And to that I say, not only are you wrong, but you're also stupid. First off, it doesn't really fly, it kinda just hovers, or levitates if you will, kinda like the rock Pokemon Geodude. And even though I will admit she does resemble a dragon, in my opinion her jagged rough skin makes her look more like a molten rock to me. So in my eyes I have her as a fire rock type. I also have the Goblin Demolisher as a grass fire type. He's a grass type since he's a goblin, and his main attack of using dynamite just feels like a fire type move if you ask me. I also have the Susbush as a grass rock type because their main weapon is a club made out of rocks. And the last grass dual type I have is the Goblin Brawler. And yeah, I know I said no buildings, but Goblin Brawler is just a troop trapped in a building, so he counts in my opinion. And he's obviously a grass fighting type. I mean, the reason he's even locked in the cage is because they couldn't get him to stop fighting other troops. The last 2 cards I have are the Ice Golem and E-Golem. Now for the Ice Golem, I have him as a Ice Rock type because he is half Golem, so he is part rock. So you might think that means the Elixir Golem is part rock, but you'd be wrong, since he's different than the other Golems in the fact that he's completely made out of elixir, and for that reason I have him as a poison fairy type, because I personally think giving your opponent free elixir is something a fairy type would do, and poison types have a move called toxic, and there's no card that's more toxic in the game than the E-Golem. So there you have it, that's every Clash Royale troops Pokemon typing. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.